man believes that we didn't go to the moon. Marcus, lovely to meet you. This is going to be one hell of an interview. So Marcus, so basically the premise is what you're saying is that we didn't go to the moon. On 1969, 3 men, astronauts, went up and didn't go to the moon. So what's the premise of your argument here? Because when I look at it, I see footage, I see photos, I see conspiracy, but if I look at the money, for example, the huge amount of money, how would they have covered that up?
Okay. Every dollar spent on the American space program was spent here on Earth. None of it was spent in space. The products of the program were sent into space. But the money was spent paying the people to make the rockets and the landers and the spacesuits and all the things associated with it.
Okay, so if we look at the space program, then we say that that's what happened. But we've also got all those, was it 400,000 employees involved?
Yeah.
How do you silence 400,000 employees?
They were mainly employees of the contractor companies such as Boeing and Grumman and North American, Hamilton Standard, International Latex Corporation, all the thousands of companies that provided equipment and worked with NASA on the Apollo program. So you're talking about drivers and security guards and secretaries and cafeteria staff. You're not talking 400,000 rocket scientists, though there were a few thousand rocket scientists who worked for NASA.
Yeah.
You don't need them to keep a secret, because so far as they're concerned, they're doing the very best job they could. They're doing the best engines, they're building the best rockets. Yeah. They don't have to keep a secret. There's no secret to keep.
So do you think that do you think it's like a need to know, in the sense that one lot over here are building something and a lot here are monitoring something, and that they don't communicate between each other?
Yeah, exactly. That's called compartmentalization.
Okay.
You know enough to do your own job.
Right.
You don't need to know how the guy in Boeing is building the rockets.
Yeah.
If you worked in Boeing being in Seattle, it's a couple of thousand miles from Houston in Texas.
Right.
You don't need to know what the guys in Houston are doing. The guys in Houston don't need to know what the guys at Grumman in California are doing. There's no need for them to know. So if you also invoke national security and national identity, people will go along with that. At the time, the late 1960s, Russia were trying to earn money. They didn't have a great deal to export except for one major product, natural gas.
Right.
They wanted to export that into Europe so they could sell it and have money, because they'd had a wheat harvest failed, so America was supplying them with wheat as well at this time, millions of tons of wheat a year. Russia wanted to sell their natural gas. They had vast supplies of natural gas. They still have vast supplies of natural gas. They want to sell it into Western Europe, specifically West Germany, as it was then. But Russia had a problem. They couldn't make the pipes to transport the gas in, because they didn't have the industry to make these 1.4 meter diameter pipes, which were going to stretch for 2,000 kilometers. We're talking a lot of pipes.
Wow.
So the Soviet Union made a deal with Western Europe, specifically West Germany. You supply the pipes, we'll supply the gas. It's called gas for pipes. This was happening, and the contract for the supply of gas into Western Germany was signed in 1968. Russia were not about to jeopardize their major export market. It's not going to happen. Wow. The survival of the Soviet Union was actually at stake. If they hadn't had the wheat coming in from America, which is very generous of them, if they hadn't had the supply of natural gas into Western Europe, which was also an extremely useful industrial cooperation, because it was also then supplied into Hungary and Italy and Austria.
Right.
Britain is one of the very few countries in Europe that doesn't even take Russian natural gas. We take it from Norway and from Qatar. Now, it's still being supplied into Western Europe, and Russia are about to build another pipeline. It's called Nord Stream. It goes through the Baltic Sea.
And so is that still the case today, you say? Would you say still that we've got a case politically where Russia could now say something, or do you think that's going to make Russia look really stupid because the fact they didn't say something at the time?
No. I think everybody understands the political, economic and social position of the Soviet Union in the late 60s, early 1970s. Right. We're now 2017, Russian scientists, Russian filmmakers now have full unrestricted access to all the Apollo material via the internet, as we all do. Yeah. And they are saying now, look, it couldn't have happened. The rockets are not powerful enough. How did they get away with the radiation which we know exists there? That's why that's why the Soviet Union never sent any cosmonauts to the moon, because they couldn't ensure their safe return due to the dangers of radiation. They knew about radiation.
But did not the actual ship they're in, did that not protect them from radiation? Did the suits not protect them from radiation?
No, of course it didn't. Small aluminium sheets do not protect you from solar particle events, that's solar flares, from galactic cosmic rays, that's the radiation from deep space.
Okay.
And when protons and charged particles hit aluminium, they will create even more radiation.
That's right, and then you get the X-rays, obviously, from coming off from that as well.
You've got gamma rays, you've got all... Look, even if you or me stand out in the sun for too long, on a cloudless day, not going to happen in England for a while yet, but if you did, you might get skin cancer and die, and that's radiation. So let's not fool ourselves that radiation is a harmless thing that you can use a aluminium foil to protect from. Of course you can't.
So if we look at the science of this, and we look at the Van Allen belt, and we've got a protection layer over the Earth, and so you're saying that we've never managed to get out of the Van Allen belt?
Correct. Okay. No human has travelled beyond the Van Allen radiation belts.
Okay, all right.
Because if he did, he would be dead on return. Radiation kills people. It doesn't kill all biological life.
Yeah.
There was a Russian unmanned craft that was sent to orbit the moon in 1968. It was called Zond 5. On board were several insects and turtles, small turtles. And they were returned in 1968 to Earth. They were alive, quite healthy, no problems.
Okay.
How many people know that turtles can withstand 30 times the levels of radiation that humans can stand?
Wow.
So you send turtles and they're alive, great, of course they will be. They can survive huge levels of radiation.
So we need suits that are made out of turtles then, effectively.
We need turtle suits. They're ninja.
So Marcus, I have to be honest, that was probably one of the most fascinating interviews I've done, but just for the viewers, I've got to say, what do you believe in?
There are three things I believe in.
Right.
Father Christmas, the Tooth Fairy, and the Easter Bunny.
Well,
for everything else, I want evidence.
Good luck in finding the Easter Bunny, Marcus. Lovely to meet you. Take care.